the wooden rollers would wear in the middle. So she used to bind cloth round them
to bring them up.
To bring them up to the level so that all the water came out.
Amazing.
Yes.
That was hard work, wasn't it?
I've still got a galvanised bath, by the way.
But perhaps running water into it now.
Yes.
Can you tell us about your courting days?
How far back do you want to go?
What did you do for fun? Well, you know, when you
Where
left
did
work in Bedford, came back to Kempston.
I played a lot of tennis, and what else?
Where did you play tennis?
Well, then I helped in the pub as well in the evenings.
You met lots of boys there then, men?
Men, yes, knew lots of people, lots and lots of people.
Did you meet your husband there?
No, I met my husband because I worked with a girl from Shefford, and I was invited to Shefford to a tennis club dance, and my friend Sheila asked my husband Jack if he would dance with me if I went there, and he did, and that was how we met. But then we got married 10 years later. We didn't see each other, not until he came back from sea. He was at sea in the Merchant Navy. And by then, yes.
So we went off to sea all the time, and
yes, he had a 10-year plan. He told somebody I worked with. He came back in 10 years.
So you were in the 10-year plan, but at the end.
In the 10-year plan, but I knew other people in that 10 years, spending with other people.
So what was there to do in Kempston for people, young people, unmarried people?
Well, not a lot in dances, but I didn't go. There used to be dances at the Cresselco and Cardington Camp and places like that, but I wasn't really into that. I went riding. I used to ride.
Oh, right.
I played a lot of tennis, and I don't really know. As I say, when my dad died in 1955, so I helped my mother in the pub before I went to work when I got home. So there wasn't much time for anything else. My sister used to. She was a dancer, keen on dancing.
Oh, was she?
Yes, yes.
Ballroom?
We used to go to Miss Bull's dancing classes.
Where was she?
Ballet and tap in Bedford. And then we did one or two things at the theatre, shows.
Did you?
Yeah.
What?
And then it was just tap dancing and
put on shows.
Yeah. And then and after that, then I went riding. I used to go riding quite a lot.
Do you have your own horse?
At Wootton. No. Stables at Wootton. And then after that, I got married, had my girls.
Tell us about your wedding and the reception.
Oh yes, well when we got married we moved into a house on the Hoo, but when we were arranging the wedding, Jack was away, so I had all the dealings with buying the house and arranging the wedding because he wasn't coming home until about 2 months before the wedding. So there weren't many places really where you could have a wedding reception apart from the Civil Defence Hall down the Manor. Do you know the Manor Drive? There was a Civil Defence Hall down there, and we had our reception there, and then we moved into Durler Avenue, and we've lived there ever since.
Did you have a white wedding?
Yes, I did. Yes,
Lovely.
Mrs. Bird made my wedding dress.
Was it long?
And, yes.
And
a veil, yes. A dress, which I've still got.
Did you have bridesmaids?
Yes, I did. Jack's niece was bridesmaid and my niece. She was 3.
What about your bouquet? Because they've changed over the years.
They have,
They were
yes.
big and...
No, it wasn't too big.
No.
It was just roses and quite small, not too big anyway. It wasn't huge.
Did you have a honeymoon?
Yes, we went to Cornwall.
Cornwall. How did you get there?
Drove.
You had a car?
Yes.
What kind of a car?
Big old sunbeam Talbot.
They were big, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a beetle.
Did it take you a long time to get to Cornwall?
It took 3 days. We took 3 days.
3 days?
Yes, on the way we stayed at Abingdon,
Mm.
and then I think another place on the way, and then down to Bodinick was where we stayed. Foy,
Yeah,
it was across the river from Foy
Yeah.
to Bodinick.
lovely.
Yeah.
And now you get there in about 3 hours, don't you?
Well,
The
I can remember
motorways.
going along the Exeter, I think it was the road near Exeter, and there was such a hold up in the traffic that ice cream vans were coming down
Wow, lovely.
to sell ice creams because you were just stuck.
That's incredible.
Couldn't move, yeah.
Did you drive?
No, I've never driven. No. I learned, but I didn't like it.
You didn't like it,
No,
so you stopped.
No.
Where did you stay? Did you stay in a guest house? Or?
We stayed at the Old Ferry Inn. It was an inn, and on the way down we'd noticed how pretty all the wildflowers were along the bottoms of they were walls, stone walls. And I kept saying about these lovely yellow, I think they're called yellow rattle, or yellow nettles, and beautiful flowers. And when we got there, in our room, on a table, was a bowl of all these wildflowers.
Oh.
They were beautiful.
How lovely.
Beautiful. That pleased me.
I bet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, because the wildflowers from the hedges are
Yes, they're
disappearing,
beauti-
aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They
Yeah,
are
they were
now.
beautiful. Yes, yes. And
What would you say are the biggest changes you've seen in your lifetime that affect you?
Well, I worked in a school after I had my children. I was at home for 10, 11 years, and I went to work in a school, and children have changed.
Mm.
The way children are compared with the way I was, the way children are now.
Do you think television's had a lot
I think
to do with
television
it?
had a
Do
lot,
you?
and I think we had to make our own pleasure,
Mm.
and now they don't. It's all there for them. That was the
It's a shame.
yeah.
They don't play out.
No, they don't play. Not like we used to anyway. We played marbles and jigsaws and
Mm.
snakes and ladders, and if you say that to children now, they don't know what you're talking about.
No, they don't.
And I think shops as well. I think shopping in a small shop, you got to know people, the people behind the counter got to know you. Now you go into Sainsbury's, say, and they don't know you from Adam.
No, it's
I
not.
think that's another thing. It's well, I suppose it's television and everything's provided for all the children.
Yeah.
So you don't see it as an improvement then, any of this?
No, I don't know. I think and families have changed. No.
How have they changed?
Well, who's got the same father and mother?
Mm.
It's very different now.
Mm.
Very
So
different.
is there any changes that you see for the good since you were younger?
Well, it's very difficult. It's just my opinion that I think well, I enjoyed my childhood, but I don't think a lot of children enjoy their childhood now, and I don't think at school it isn't the same. We learnt, and we didn't have everything that they've got now,
Mm.
and they don't ever seem satisfied.
Mm.
So overall you think everything is worse and nothing has improved in your lifetime?
I suppose really washing facilities have improved, and cleanliness really, although they say now that there are too many germs about, and we never got ill or anything like that. That's one thing I must mention. When I was 3, I had scarlet fever. And I can remember going off in the dark on Christmas Eve in an ambulance, a brown ambulance, to Clapham
For isolation.
isolation hospital, for 6 weeks. And your parents weren't allowed to come into the hospital. They had to come to the window and see you. They could come on a Wednesday and a Sunday. And at 3,
That must have been dreadful.
it was.
Absolute.
Yeah.
Upset you, I
Well,
should think.
I didn't know I was upset, if you know what I mean. I knew I was going to cry when they came, and I couldn't stop crying, but I didn't know why I was crying, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because one Wednesday, my mother couldn't come because Dad was on duty or something like that, and I had to stand on the bed with girl in the next bed, and I never cried. So I suppose it was really that, but I think when you're 3, you can't work out why
No,
you're
you
crying, can you?
Did you get any more infectious diseases? Did you get measles?
Measles, chicken
pox.
Yes.
Did you have your tonsils out?
No.
Because they
No.
seem to sort of take them out,
Yes.
you know, at that
Yes,
age,
yes, yes.
which they don't today.
They thought it was diphtheria,
Oh, really?
and they had to fumigate. If diphtheria was in the house, they had to fumigate the house. But it turned out it wasn't diphtheria; it was scarlet fever.
Right, and if they had, who would have come and done that?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah,
Council, I suppose.
yeah, probably.
And as I was in at Christmas, you weren't allowed to have toys that you could take home. So I couldn't have any presents from home.
Oh, dear.
So when I got home 6 weeks later, I had all my Christmas with the doll, I think it was, in a shop or something like that. But yeah, that's
Incredible.
yes. And I learnt to do hospital corners at 3 to make the bed. And I still do them.
Do you still do
Yeah.
them? Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic, Margaret. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Probably think of a lot more.